need to be rooted in love. How do we go back and get those people that are not familiar with that concept? Because they got to be a
I feel like there's so many people who are familiar with that concept that you don't have to be around people who don't agree or who aren't familiar. And so when you choose to be around people who agree with the type of love that you agree with, the people who don't agree with that start to fall away. It's just like the enemy. It's just like the more you attach yourself to God, the further the enemy runs. Because
But are we talking about healing for you and yours, or are we talking about healing for the entire community? Because if we're talking about healing for the entire community,
everyone needs love, right? But you have to meet someone halfway. Like, you have to choose that for yourself. And so until you can choose that for yourself, I'm gonna stay over here where there's people who are doing that right now. And so when you can catch up, then okay, we'll be here. But until then, you have to move on.
I'm gonna try my hardest to correlate this, right? What you're saying about the fact that people need to choose something for themselves, and until then, you're gonna let them stay at arm's length, right?
Correct.
So I'm gonna try, and this is a totally different thing, but I'm gonna try to correlate it. So I've seen 2 instances of guys coming home from prison,
right?
And after lengthy prison sentences, and I watched their reacclimation into society, right?
Right.
One guy, 5-10 years later, he's working. He's on his, he's doing what he got to do, and he hasn't reoffended. You got another guy who came home, was in jail like 18 months later. You know what I mean? Got out again, did it again. You know what I'm saying? This time he gone for like 75 years. That's neither here nor there. But the fact of the matter is, he had a chance to come home,
right?
Turn around and went right back. What's the difference between those two? Well, the one that stayed out for the long haul, he had family, he had support, he had, I'm sure he had moments where he was like, man, I'm finna go do something stupid that could have possibly got him locked up, but he had somebody to grab him and say, come here. No, we're not doing that. The other guy only had himself. And if he had a woman, she was on the same stuff he was on. If he had a brother, he was on the same stuff he was on. So he didn't have anyone. So what could he have possibly have latched on to, considering that he was only a product of his childhood? So this is all he's ever known. If he didn't have someone already there established, right? If he couldn't get Alex to say, yo, listen, man, you need to chill out. Let me talk to you, tell you how to keep yourself from reoffending. Because Alex said he's going to keep him at arm's length. So he don't have that from anyone on his circle. So are you going to be the one to assist, to help him heal?
I mean, I feel like, why not?
But you just said you're going to keep him at arm's length, though, because he ain't ready for that.
But no, then he is ready for it if he's accepting of it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's people who are accepting of help. And again, like you said, when they get their opportunity, they move. Like the gentleman who got his freedom and take advantage of it. So then there's people who get their freedom and then they don't.
Right. For sure.
And so when you think about it from a literal perspective, you have to choose that type of freedom. I feel like the fact that me personally, if I had that friend or that person or that family member or whatever it may be because me personally, I have a strong relationship with the Most High. I feel like He always provides, even when we lack. But that's because I choose to accept that for me personally. Again, I also feel like me personally, as I'm living my life, I can choose to do this or that in every situation, no matter what someone has taught me or what I have been led to believe.
Yeah, we definitely got choices.
And so within all of that, like, I feel like...
But what fuels your decision-making process, right? What fuels your decision-making process? What your experiences and what you know? When you take a risk, if the risk is if the risk reward ratio ain't matching up, would you take an unnecessary risk that you don't know the outcome to, or are you gonna stick with what you know? So when you make your choice, and that's all I'm trying to get to, right? So this individual who wants love, he want to be a part of the community, and we need him to be a part of the community in order for us to all heal. I don't think we should be stiff arming nobody, whether you ready or my perception is you're not ready, because at the end of the day, I'm only as strong as my brother. So if he's weak, then how can I expect us to be strong as a community? So that's the one thing that I think we need to stop. You know, that person a drug addict, that person a criminal, that person this, that person that. Like, no, that's your brother, that's your sister. Come grab them. And other than that, we're just gonna be discombobulated like we are. That's why we're so separated now, because
it takes a village.
We have this attitude.
We need to really adopt that. We need to really adopt that saying and into our culture, that it really does take a village. And we know that not everybody is going to be a part of the village, you know, but that olive branch needs to be extended.
All right.
And if we're not extending that olive branch, and unfortunately we are a society that does not trust one another, just in general, you know, we always, in general, the feeling is you got an ulterior motive. You got an ulterior motive. You don't have my best interest at heart. It doesn't matter if it's man, woman, or child, especially nowadays that, you know, children are just really mini adults with decisions that they're making and that our society in whole has allowed them to be. But we just don't trust one another. And that's the sad thing. And like you were saying, Samson, that's by design. And it's only gotten worse. And that's the bad part, you know. Right. And everything in history comes full circle. Everything comes back around. It just comes back changed, right? So it's altered some way. That's from fashion to anything, right? I look at the 60s. That was the time when Black people were together, right? Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all of that, right? And everybody was all about the Black experience. That didn't come back around, and that started, I mean, it pinnacled in the 60s, 70s, Black Panthers, things like that. But that feeling of coming together for Black people didn't happen again until the 90s.
You know why it took 30 years?
Why did it take
30 years? Because they killed all them Black folks.
We didn't have no leaders. We didn't have any representation for us as Black people. And so 90s came around. It was all about, I mean, just remember all the positive Black exposure we had on television. B-tch was truly B-tch. What they were promoting college. Everybody was excited about going to college, going to an HBCU. You felt good to be Black during that time.
Was it? I was a kid at that time. I was very, very young, but I do recall the Malcolm X hats and the whole HBCU movement. My question is, did that last long?
It lasted, I would say, no. Compared to the 60s, no, it did not. But it was exciting to me because I was not a kid at that time. Mm-hmm. It was exciting to me that I was seeing it, and it was so good, you know, to see this and thinking it was going to last, but it didn't last. And if I had the mindset then that I have now, I would have wondered what stopped it. Where did we time out? Because I don't even know, because things like that happen. It's like gaining weight. You don't realize you done put on 10 pounds until it's there. You don't see the gradual 1 pound, 2 pound. It's just like, bam, I didn't gain 10 pounds. That's how the kind of feeling it was. It just happened all of a sudden. And it was like, what happened? Where did all the positive Black shows go? What happened? We don't have this anymore. We don't have any. And then right at that time, just like white society does, like you said, everything is designed. What did they start They just started infiltrating and putting into the mix. Rap, really, that's when the gangster rap, that's when, you know, everything that was going this way, we're going positive, they put that in there, and then people started swaying that way. But the message wasn't positive anymore. And I just had a friend not that long ago say to me, you know what's wrong with Black society right now? And this has to do with music. Back when I was growing up, all the way up into the 90s, we had R&B, we had love songs, you had rap, but you had a good balance. So you had some positive, and if you wanted to hear negative, you could hear negative. We don't have that anymore. We don't have that anymore.
Not in mainstream, no. I mean, you definitely can find some positive.
You can find it, and we're not saying it's out there. It's not in mainstream. We had so many R&B artists out there. It was about, they talked about sex, but there was love, there was emotion, there was intimacy. It made people, music drives people. It's about mood, it's about aura, it's about energy. Well,
didn't they take away R&B? Ain't it something else now?
Girl, who knows? I don't know if they call it.
What solid R&B artists are out there right now? I mean, like, you're gonna say Tank? You know what I mean? There are a lot of artists out there that make the music from the 90s. You feel me? It's different,
Even the women now that sings R&B, it's not the same like our Mary J. Blige when she was doing that Slow Down, on her 411 album. The lyrics is different.
I say this cautiously though, because in the 90s, I was singing sex-driven lyrics and I wasn't supposed to. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the Jodeci's. I'm talking about the H-Towns. I'm talking about them guys, right? Sex-filled lyrics. I was gonna say today is hypersexualized, but then I almost want to say it's been hypersexualized.
It's been. I think it's more blunt. I think their words are more like really blunt now. It's not as.
It was the way the message was presented. So it's the same message. It's still sex, right? But it was wrapped up in let's be intimate. Let's be together. Now it's bitch this, hoe this,
fuck love this, and like what is that? Sweetie got that song out with her and Cardi B. It's like there's no love behind it. It's just straight.
Nobody's promoting love.
Sex. Yeah,
it's kind of like Alex said. It's lust. Everything is lust, lust, lust. There is no love. And I think that has a big, because, Black people, we love our music, and so I think that plays a big part into it. And the powers that be of the music industries, they design that, and Black people fall right into that, because if you don't want to give what we want, are you making any money? Are you going on tour? Exactly. You're not doing anything. So if you want to make the money, what are you gonna do? You're gonna make what they want.
So what happened to
you? Still got a choice in what you want to do. You don't have to choose to do that.
True.
You can choose to have in that your capabilities, or whatever it may be, will provide you some type of better opportunity. Like, I feel like we just gotten to a point to where we feel as if that specific choice is a choice that we have to make to win in life, and it's not.
Well, a lot of people, they don't want to go that other road, because we're a society where we want things fast. We want things to happen like that. So if this record company, who I know got the money, is going to back me, as long as I just make the music they want, versus let me go independent, do my own thing, it's going to take longer, and I'm going to create the music I want to make. And it may take longer for me to get that traction to start making some money. Most people are going to give into, and the record companies and society in general relies on that.
Right.
They rely on it.
But there's also lies with it.
Definitely.
So I feel like, I don't know, man. I think that again, we have to choose, the truth. Like the gentleman asked me earlier, who do you feel runs the world? And I'm like, God does. But at the same time, everybody has a choice on what they want to choose. You know what I'm saying? And so if you consistently choose something that isn't of God, how do you expect that God to come out of your reality? You know what I'm saying? If you continue to choose and push that as your culture, you know what I'm saying? How do you expect God to show up in your reality, even though he still does?
Because the enemy is crafty, though. So they make anything that has anything to do with God unappealing to the masses. And anything that has anything to do with sex and shaking ass, that's uber appealing to the masses. So It's like, the enemy is crafty, and to your point, when I say enemy, I'm not talking about the powers that be. I'm talking about the devil, right? And yeah, we have these choices. I think, you know, we have to be aware that a lot of people don't have the wisdom or the knowledge or the understanding to be able to discern. You know, you can't talk about what's baby girl from Memphis, Glorilla. You can't talk about Glorilla to these young girls out here like they're like she's a bad example. Look at what she said. Look at on this day. This is how she said this, she said that, and them girls will tell you that you hating on a black woman and that you trash. You just wish you had the money that she had, so on and so forth. They're not even open to hear how she potentially is harming them based on what they're consuming from her. So, those are the options.
Really brainwashed.
I think she's a good example. I think if anybody was a bad example, it was the young ladies talking about, you know what I'm saying, they vaginas and their and throwing out sex like as if that's who they should be made out to be. I think Glorilla is a pretty fun, unique little courtesy like Coileray. Like I think those two of the younger chicks who are kind of pushing that wave. They're great examples.
They're great examples of how to be or how not to be.
I mean, so you there has to be some type of understanding on where these young ladies are. And so when you think about that, it's like, okay, who can be the best example within that realm right now?
Mm-hmm.
So when you provide them with that opportunity, it's like, okay, damn, this young lady, Coileray, yeah, she puts out this type of music or whatever it may be, or she dresses like this, but her person, her wisdom, her personality, that type of energy, that's love. That's life.
I mean, Koi maybe. I don't see that with Glow. And I don't really see that with Koi either, because Koi kind of ratchet. But she is, you know, petite in her own way. But yeah,
I think Glorilla is.
I'm sorry, I'm confused.
Really,
again.
the same.
I'm confused again
Just
because
a little bit.
You talked about lust and everything, and that was the downfall. But you're praising two women who that's all they're talking about is lust. So I'm confused.
But okay, so that's not all that she talks about, but so it's like I understand where women are as a totality. Like that's money at the end of the day. But I feel like the promotion in itself gets a little too extensive. And so, but I also feel like people like Koi, she has a good hold on her mind and who she is as a person. So again, like you were saying, she's not following, she's making her own wave. And that's something that you said again, that most people don't do. And so regardless of what her flaws, she's still an intricate piece in a positive change because she's choosing to be herself as opposed to the same. And that's what's special about Glorilla, especially with her age.
She's like a teenager, early 20s or something. She's still a baby. I get that part. But this baby, though, is influencing grown
adults. Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly.
For sure.
That's
right.
Then again, there's another problem. There's another issue. I think men, not to disrespect women, but I feel like our men, we have a good hold on how we're leading our young men when it comes to the backside of things.
Are we talking about music? Are we talking about individual fathers with sons? Or what are we talking about?
I feel like we step up when it comes to sports, when it comes to the classroom, when it comes to life. I feel like we step up. But again, I feel like sometimes women don't miss it. They just, feel the way they feel about men's choice and preference on who they choose to be. And sometimes that makes it tough. So the rebuttal though would be, when you do the same thing to women? Like, yeah, we do. But I mean, who, again, like she said, like Montgomery said, who do we follow? Like, yeah, we follow men. Like, don't get us wrong, but at the same time, it's like if the woman didn't want it, it wouldn't be done. And so once you change that, it's like, okay, bet. I feel like we can do something different. but it's all about what she wants and what her needs are.
I can agree with that to an extent, for sure.
All right. Well, this was oh, go ahead, Satara.
No. I was just gonna say, it's been a long conversation, very informative, to say the least.
I agree.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I had a great time on you guys' platform as usual. Enjoy speaking with you, Alex.
For sure, you too.
I appreciate you guys having me on.
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad you guys was part of our panel so we can have multiple different opinions versus a one-sided thing here. So
yes,
I'm glad you were able to participate.
Like a little debate, a little bit, but I like that. It's all in, just getting our voices out there. There's no right or wrong when we have these podcasts. It's all about just discussions, and we're not always going to agree. We can agree to disagree.
Absolutely.
And that's what's the good thing about this. So I want to thank both of you also for coming on and, being transparent and opening yourselves up for the whole world to see. So, yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, the normal routine. Like, follow, share, comment, all of the above. We would like to hear from you.
Please leave us comments.
Oh, and Montgomery, you can cut this out, but all the Bitch What fans and family out there, come on over to Whole Lot of Cash on YouTube. Follow, subscribe. Brand new podcast dropping every Monday.
Oh yeah, we definitely plug you. We definitely gonna plug Whole Lot of Cash.
Check them out.
Yes. All right, y'all.